Well, it's official. Well, in 30 days it'll be official that the White House and the Department of Justice will change the face of gun shows forever. Now, before we get into it, I do want to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, for not only supporting the channel, but being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ by building orphanages all over this world, by having food pantries all over this country, hot meal places to get a hot meal, battered women's shelters. It just goes on and on and on. So check their link out. Look at their Giving Hope link that will show their different ministries. And if there's a ministry that's particularly dear to your heart, and you're going to buy a car anyway, I recommend you buy a car from them. They can ship it to you, and a portion of those proceeds go to this ministry and not just in some car dealer's pocket. That link is below. So what are we getting at? Well, the new regulation, and I'm growing to despise the word regulation. You're like, well, is it a law? Not really. Is it a rule? Like, what actually are we talking about here? But the new White House regulation being enforced by the Department of Justice in exactly, well, I guess 29 days now from the 11th, 30 days from the 11th. So I guess around May 10th. Nobody is allowed to sell guns for profit other than FFLs. Now, obviously, what they're getting at, and let's talk about what that for profit means too in a little bit. But what they're getting at is they ultimately want to shut down private collectors going to gun shows and selling their private collection. According to the Department of Justice, there's an estimated 28,000 of those in America going to gun shows and selling their private collection. If you buy a gun from somebody selling their private collection at a gun show, you don't have to pass a background check. You have every right to sell your own personal guns. The difference is that they're getting at now is you can't do it for profit. You can't show an income of it, meaning you're clearly conducting a business here. And that'll take effect May 10th. Here's my problem with gun shows in the first place is really since 2019. I've been to gun shows where there's like 80 booths and like 4 of them have guns and 1 of them has ammo. You know, and I've been to gun shows that have really picked up the pace and done much better and, you know, had a majority of guns, gun tables. But you take these collectors out, you're going to greatly reduce the quality of gun shows, in my humble opinion. Greatly reduce the quality of those because the thing about personal collectors and people selling their own private collection is, man, they got some cool, unique guns that gun dealers don't, you know. Most, you can tell the FFLs because they just have a ton of like Glocks and SIGs and Smith & Wessons and stuff. Whereas in the private collector has got all sorts of cool, unique antique stuff or just stuff that you always wish you could have but never saw really in person, like all those guns. And I think you're really going to take most of those out of the gun show, which is kind of the point of the gun show, because, you know, if I want to buy a Glock, I'm definitely not going to get it at a gun show. I mean, that's going to be the most expensive place. You know, I go to a gun show to find things that are hard to find, and I believe that's why these are going to, you know, you're not just taking out this whole thing of whether or not they passed a background check or not. You're taking away a critical piece of really what gun shows are. You know, at least for me, that's always was the best thing about gun shows. And I don't think they've ever really recovered already. And now you take this piece out. I think it's kind of devastating to the gun show, to be quite honest. You know, something that I talked with Maggie about, and we do have a video coming out on it, is that there's a lot of these like home FFLs, and that it's really those guys that kind of need to get into the gun shows, you know, those home FFLs. you know, the people that don't actually have a storefront and they build guns in their garage and they have an FFL, you know, they can run a background check and that sort of thing. So hopefully we see more of that kind of thing. We'll see, but you know, I really love your thoughts on this because it's kind of I think it's going to be a massive blow to the gun shows that already have taken a pretty massive blow, but here comes another 1-2 punch, man. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe I am on this one because, again, most of the FFLs, they're just selling new guns, you know. Whereas it was the collectors that had all the cool old stuff or the cool unique things that are hard to find. So there you go. Any thoughts or insight? Definitely put it below. Do want to take a moment and say most people watch this channel are not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. Greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests and never hesitate to say, thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. As always, love God, love your family, and love guns.